Welcome back to Freedom Algo. This is the daily chart review looking at the ES 2000 tick chart. It is January 21st, 2025. And let's take a look at the day. This is kind of a wild day so far. The price action is getting pretty slow right now, but we are breaking out to the upside, which is interesting to see. And so you can kind of see if I zoom way out here that we basically had this wild spike down in the overnight. And then right after that, we basically recovered it, V-shaped recovery from there, which is usually an unsustainable. When that happens, it usually means that this was an unsustainable move, and then it's going to reverse in the other direction because there was no attempt to even make a new low till right there. And so what we actually have is a spike in channel. Originally, I thought we just had a spike in channel like this, which ended up playing out. But so I was thinking, hey, maybe we're having a big range day. I had drawn my range earlier, but then as we kind of kept getting a bullish bias and we weren't making new lows, I did draw this range that we stayed within for most of the day. But you can actually see what we really have is a wider spike in channel. So there's a spike here, there's a wider channel in play, and then there's this channel in play here. So I kind of have both of them on. This is sort of like the bottoms line up almost exactly. So I think it's probably this wider channel with a midline over here. But that midline's not helping you too much right now where the price action is. So I have this other secondary channel drawn on here just in case. And that's important to do. And we did break out of the top of this here for the range highs. And so we'll see what we end up getting. Now, if we look at the daily chart real quick, you can see that I had drawn this channel a little while back. You can zoom way back. The low here being whatever this is. What the heck? Something's up with my dates there. Something real weird. But you can see this goes pretty far back. I think this was like October. Yeah, October 2023. So that goes pretty far back. I just drew from that big low. Now, obviously, you could draw some further channel, whatever, but I'm just going from there. And that channel actually fits pretty nice because it has this tap here. And then it actually confirmed here on that third attempt. Right here, it closed there. This daily candle closed above it. And then this one also closed above it. And we had this down channel that I had drawn. We smashed right out of this thing, and we haven't really attempted to make a new low yet. I mean, you could argue that there's a hidden second entry short there that failed. So, or you could just call this a first entry short on this swing. But we're within this tight up channel, and it's still moving upward. So we'll see what happens in the long run, but I would not be surprised to see us come back and try to test the highs overall. And originally I had drawn this channel, and if you do draw like a channel, something like, for example, like this on the daily, which does fit pretty nice. I don't know. It was okay. The problem with this one was you didn't get really like a third attempt. Actually, sorry, let me draw a little lower because it just dramatically smashed through that. So the price action didn't really fit that channel. And so this was a hard one here. It was like grinding up. So I thought the wider channel was probably in play, and that's what it looks like to me. So I would not be surprised to see us test the all-time highs and then just keep pushing up higher and go all the way up towards the top of this here. I don't see that as too far outside of the realm of possibility. So we'll see what happens. We could end up trying to test the low here because we didn't. We could try to get another attempt lower, but then it could reverse. So we'll see. All right, let's get over to the actual price action here. Let me zoom back over and see what's going on over here. Because we were flirting with the top of this channel line. I had to move it up slightly, but it still fits off of this wick right here. So we'll see if this upper channel is in play. If it just keeps on pushing through this, then I'll probably just remove this channel and I'll only use the wider one. And I'll use that midline as like the minor level, which it does fit nice. So we'll see what it does there because it is like a little bit steeper looking here. We keep getting measured legs all over the place today. So you do have to be aware of those. Like, we keep getting like moves like this where it probably will tap that level. So we just have measured legs everywhere today. So anyway, let's go back. The first trade I really saw today came right before the open. because this was kind of a grind in here, and I just didn't really see any good setups because we had this down channel. We got to close outside a new low all at once, and that was like before I trade in the early part of the day. So you can't take any second entry shorts or longs here. It's really sideways right here, so there's just no trades to be had. Finally, it breaks out and then it fails. So, you could argue that this is just a failed breakout of this congestion here, but there was nothing really convincing there for me to take. So what I looked at was, hey, we probably have this wider up channel in play, and we get a first entry and then a second entry, and this is a second entry long above this green candle. Technically, the second entry triggers above this, but this is an engulfing bar, so you wait for the green bar to close, enter one tick above that. It confirmed this trend line, so you go long there. You even get a higher low confirmation, so if you weren't already in the trade, you could take it there. And I like that one a lot, just for an attempt towards the highs. It's above the 21 EMA there. Now, this one, I will say, it was right into the open. So if you entered this, like, you would have to think about that. But I mean, I don't think that that's really matters. The spike in volatility was most likely to actually work in your favor there. So then you get the new high here, and then it reverses. You have this down channel working. This one I marked green. This is just a close outside and a new low all at once with a bullish bar. And it's a close outside of this trend line. So you're expecting a new high, but it's only a first entry. There's technically a hidden second entry there, but that's more advanced. So this is a more advanced trade, but I like that one, just following the price action rules of the downtrend played out and the uptrend needs a new high. Now after that, it comes down, you get a first entry, second entry long that fails. So this is a failure. It's not necessarily the best place to take a failure, but I think at this point, I was thinking that it was a range day and we had just come off these highs right here that were matching from these highs. So it looked like we were probably going to go lower, and there were some gaps to fill. So that's a decent one. It then comes up, and there's a first entry, second entry long here on a higher low, but it's a little sideways. These bars are both inside this bar. It's a little congested, but it does work if you just took a quick scalp there. That's all you get out of that. So if you took that, it's fine. I understand why you would take it. It's not the best trade, though. It is congested, and you have to be careful in those zones. All right, so then it comes up here, fails down. You then you then have this trend line that you draw down, a wider channel. And what I saw here basically was we didn't make a new high on this one, but maybe this was some other attempt up, a leg to, I don't know. That's a weird one. You were hoping that this would make a new high, and I think that's also why this one was somewhat of a valid attempt. But when it failed, you see that when it fails to make the new high, a lot of times it just sharply goes down. So then after that, it comes down, and then what you have here is just a first entry, second entry short. No, there's no setup there, no good signal bar. But it then goes up, and it makes a new high on this uptrend. So this is a push up, uptrend playing out, confirms the downtrend. And so if you go short below that, that's a pretty nice setup. It's kind of like a visual second entry short, but it really is more of just like a uptrend played out. But it's not ideal. A lower high would be better, and you actually do get one right here. And that one is the safer trade. And it's also lower risk because it's only a 9-tick bar, whereas this one's a 13-tick bar. And that's why I marked this one red and that one green. So then it comes down, and then you have a first entry, second entry short off of this low. So that's a second entry short. It's also kind of like a triple test here. So if you took that, it works. It's within this up channel, so I don't love it. But at this point, you were thinking it was a range day, so it does work as a triple test. The lower high would be the better setup here, and you do get one there, and that's a really nice bearish bar within this down channel that looks like it's setting up. So I like that one better, just looking for a new low on this channel, and you get it. And then it comes down, you get a higher low here, but I wouldn't be taking that yet. Yeah, it does line up, but it's really kind of no man's land. At the time, you were thinking it'd probably go for more of the lows. Now, when it gives you a first entry and a second entry short that fails, you could take the failure there because at this point, it's looking like you're making higher lows. It is basically a triple test of this level. So you could take that one, but it's definitely a little bit more risky. It then comes up, and this one is it's a little more advanced, but I do think it's a pretty safe trade. you have an up channel working here. You already made your new low on that down channel. You might not get one on this one because that was the attempt lower. So now what you have here is you get this new high, you get a first entry long, and then a close outside, and then it breaks below and comes up and gives you this like basically engulfing bar. So one tick above this is a second entry long, and you're looking for a new high. Now, it goes sideways for a second, but it does work, and it is a pretty safe trade in my opinion there. It looked like it trapped all those shorts that thought they were taking a lower high, and that trapped them one tick and then reversed. So I do like that one. And then up here, at the time, this was again that level. This blue line was kind of a level. And by the way, I forgot to mention that this blue line was kind of a level that we were sort of respecting. So that was another thing about that one. But up here, this kind of looks like a triple test again, but I don't think that you really have enough to just take that. But then when you get the lower high, I think you can take that one. And then you get a failed second entry long. And if you didn't get in the lower high, you could definitely take that one. And that is a really nice setup. Then comes sideways. There's not much here. I do see this one here after this close outside, new low. You have this up channel. You get this kind of close outside right here. It's not that convincing, but it does make a new high. It does come off that exact same level. And at this point, you've rejected that level so many times. So if you took that, it works. Lower high would be better, but you don't get it because you don't know for sure if this up channel was really if that's a really convincing close. Now, after that, you actually get a first entry, second entry long that's a higher low above the EMA. It looks like it's confirming this up channel that could be in play. At this point, you would have actually been looking and seeing that there is just an upward bias here, and we are sort of respecting these lows, and it's making higher lows. So that's a nice, safe trade. And then after that, you have another first entry, second entry long. Now, technically, there's a double top here, so sometimes you reset your count. But if you're a more advanced trader, you understand that this is one leg down, first entry, second leg down, second entry long on a higher low, confirm like right off of this trend line. So it does work out for a nice scalp. And then we finally get a close outside, new high. We reject down, and I had these lines drawn because we were bouncing in between those. And then finally, we come up here. And at the time, I had my range high here, so this is just a failed breakout attempt. So if you took that, it's fine. A lower high would have been better, but we didn't get one. And then we come up here, get a close outside. Now we're going higher. And this is what I said before. If this kept going up, I was just going to delete this and just use the wider channel, because if you have to keep on moving the top of your channel because it's doing that, then you probably have your channel wrong. So there is a possibility of a steeper channel in play here. It doesn't fit that great. Maybe off of this low, there might actually be a steeper channel in play. It's always good to draw these just in case, because as it keeps going up like this, if it fits, then you should have it on here just in case that's the channel that's in play. Because a lot of times you're going to have steeper channels within a wider flat channel like this. And that looks like it fits pretty nice to me. The range at this point is not relevant anymore, so I'm just ignoring that range. I will respect this level when we come back and expect some sort of reaction at the level. But for now, what I'm looking for is, are we going to get some sort of a second entry longs? Are there setups? I was doing the lesson, so I didn't have a chance to look at this. It's kind of a spike in channel working right within here, but I think ultimately this is just a wider channel off of this low here, because this was kind of like two legs down. So you can draw a trend channel off that. So we have the wider channel in play. We have this one. We're coming up towards that midline. If you zoom way out, you can see this is the highest that we've been in a while. If I zoom all the way back, we haven't been to this level in a while. I mean, it looks like we're trying to fill up the gap from that old CPI day. I think that was a CPI day. I forget. It was some sort of news. I can't remember for sure, but there's definitely some gaps that we're looking to fill, and that seems to be what we're doing here. We're trying to go up towards these levels up here, it looks like. And so we'll see what it does. And at this point, the ATR is low. The bars are getting pretty small. You do need to be careful when it starts to get small like that. Watch out for congestion, and just have to be patient. Wait for it to come back to the key entry point. Now that we have this uptrend established, look for second entry longs off the EMA or off the trend line. That's what we're looking for now. and we'll see what it does. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll see you then.